trying to find the planning time in order to implement the things that they need to implement within the classroom, all the while dealing with budget cuts, because we know all of us could probably name at least 2 to 3 teachers that use their own personal funds to try to make, um, well, using the out of pocket expense to have their strategies implemented within the classroom as best as possible, and so that it's a environment where the students can actually not only have the textbook as a resource, but also have additional resources, maybe visual aids, or maybe it could be posters or inspirational things, or it could just be paper and pencil for students who do not have them, or crayons, or a backpack. I've known teachers who have solicited sponsors to try to, assist with those things. And I know that those are things that they're probably um, restricted from doing, but when you have a student in your class who doesn't have shoes, or doesn't have a coat and it's in the middle of winter, or doesn't have the necessary supplies, then you definitely, as a teacher, want to give them the essentials. I mean, paper and pencil is, or folders, is the least that we could do to provide to the students so that they can have the best learning environment possible. And also, we talked about planning time, but also parents can be challenging for teachers, whether it's lack of participation, or not really being engaged as much as maybe they could be in the students' lives. I'm not sure how frequently, I didn't look at the data regarding how many parents, or the percentage of parents that actually in a particular area come to PTO meetings or PTA meetings to find out actually what's going on with the student. I know that things are changing, and sometimes parents don't feel the need to do that because most things are posted on the school's website, or maybe the parent is going to the school board meetings, and so they find out additional information there. But it's different from going to a PTO meeting. When you go to a PTO meeting, you get an opportunity to talk with the administrators one-on-one in a more relaxed environment. They're not having the demands of, the day-to-day, trying to move from one class to the next, or trying to move from one curriculum set to the next. And they can focus more on genuinely, what the parents' concerns are, and be able to provide feedback in a more relaxed environment. But that is one of the challenges that has been noted for teachers. And also work overload. And then, um, two, a lot of teachers have second jobs, because we know that teachers are not compensated in the way that they should be, especially if you're just starting out in teaching. So there are a large number of teachers who work more than one job in order to be able to sustain their standard of living, and be able to have a good flexible teaching platform that can help, all of the students, and perform at the best possible performance level. And we're talking about balancing all of this and the diverse needs of all of the students, so that they have winning percentages as far as their performance reports are concerned, and then and the differing teaching styles that they have to implement within the classroom, depending on the actual subject area that they're teaching, and then the teaching strategies. And sometimes teachers do get easily burned out by not having the support that they need, and having these limitations placed on the things that they are able to do or not able to do. And then coupled with, the lack of parental support, sometimes in some areas can be a bit challenging. And definitely dealing with discipline issues along with that can be very taxing. And so there's a change in our educational trends, and adopting new technologies and tools. But we also need to provide teachers with the proper support and training, so that it results in a consistent teaching style among all the teachers. Because if you do that, then you create this lack of consistency among the teaching styles if they're not supported in that way, and they're not provided that professional development to remove any frustrations. And then, of course, then they naturally would have low job satisfaction because they're not being supported in the way that they probably could be. Maybe they're just weak in a particular area, but if they're, evaluated on that performance report and the administrators are seeing that, hey, this is a deficiency area for them, and they find a professional development course, whether it be online or on site, where they can receive continuing education credits and also boost their skills, that may be a way for them to not feel self-conscious about their weak areas, because we all have weak areas in ways in which we can improve. And, some schools are underperforming. And so those are major stressors, but I feel that the majority of the administrators are doing the best they can with the resources that they have. But these are just some of the challenges that teachers are facing, and administrators have been teachers themselves, because before you can go into that role, especially in public education, you have to have taught in the classroom. And so they should, of course, definitely understand the challenges that their teachers are going through. But then again, we're going through changing times where, sometimes there's limited disciplinary actions that they can take. There are budget cuts, so there's not as many funds in order to maybe reimburse the teachers for these trainings. And so all of these things are major factors in whether or not our teachers have job satisfaction in the K through 12 levels. But, I do encourage you to thank a teacher and take the time out, not only during those times, well, definitely during those, holidays where you feel like you want to thank a teacher. I'm not sure what the limitations there are, but I know this has been a long time ago. When I was in school, we could take a teacher an apple, and that was a form of gratitude, and they seem to like that. I'm not sure if kids still do that, but just thank your teachers for all the sacrifices that they make, because we realize that we are facing changing times in education, but it's an exciting time for us to be able to give more to our communities and give more to our students, because they are indeed going to shape the way that America and the world is going to be driven. And so when we plant that seed as teachers, whether we're in a teaching role or if we're in a supporting role for a teacher or for a school system, those seeds that are planted into those children can change lives. Yes, we have to look at the data and see what's, the most important, or pull out whether the student is on grade level or not on grade level. And yes, we have to deal with the classroom management. And yes, you have to look at whether or not they are being able to internalize all of the content and the lessons that you're teaching, so that they can pass the standardized tests and be proficient on standardized tests and move through the grade levels on grade level in a timely manner. But you also have to look at the students as and the teachers as individuals, and understand that they all go through hardships. Everyone is not always going to be on target every day, but what we can do is we can bring our best for that particular day. And so teachers work extremely hard to, raise the achievement level, but we have to know that they're working within trying to balance, the mental, spiritual, emotional, physical, financial sometimes, because students don't have, funds for lunch, or maybe they haven't had breakfast, curriculums. They're dealing with all of these things and also trying to create a mind of success, so that these students can succeed and have a good education, and also determine that they have good character along with that. And so the problems that are faced in the educational systems could be, you know, people talk about students who have special needs, and the teachers need to be supported when they have students who have particular special needs in a classroom. And I know that generally they do receive an aid or additional support with that. But we, as parents, can also provide some support at some point for our teachers too in that role. And so we want to make sure that we understand, even though these students may be facing challenges, and you have students who may be repeating the course, and so they have remedial, they're already doing remediation, and so the teacher has to try to make sure, of course, ensure that that student is being able to digest the information and hopefully get back on grade level. But immediate feedback is good for teachers, but also keep in mind that they do have raising standards that they're being challenged with within the classroom. So our topic today is the challenges that teachers are facing within the classroom, and I know that you all will have a lot of comments for me. I know that since teachers are highly qualified now, that we have teachers who are definitely more educated than they were when I came through the K-12 levels, and teachers, I guess, only had to have a bachelor's degree at that time, and now the majority of teachers do go on to get their master's degree, and so in addition to their bachelor's degree, so the large majority of teachers do already have that. But just the next time you see your teacher, thank a teacher and realize that, the education system varies from rural settings and rural education to city schools. The dynamics will be different and the challenges will be different that they will face. And so the more that we can support them as community members, by going to your school board meetings and actually finding out what the needs are of our teachers, what the needs are of our school systems, and being informed parents and being informed citizens. But again, I want to encourage you to support our teachers, because they do have, in this transitional world of education, a lot of demands that are being placed on them, and it is a highly stressful environment. Again, I want to reiterate that our heart and prayers go out to all the global citizens that are affected in any way at this time by any tragedy or any illness that they may be facing tonight. And I am your host, Buffie Williams, with the New Heights Educational Group, the New Heights Show on Education. And tonight's topic, we talked about the challenges that teachers are facing, and I hope you enjoyed it.
We hope that you join us next week.
That's our time, and you have been listening to the New Heights Show on Education. I'm your host, Buffy Williams. If you like what you've heard, search for us on your smart speaker and listen to us anytime. Thank you for listening. Good night. Until we meet again next Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we discuss next week's topic. Enjoy expanded content from the New Heights Education Group hosts on Blog Talk,